Chris Lemonis. Let's open with Steve.
Well, Chris, first thing I want to get to is Clark and Palmero didn't do it. Dubose and those guys didn't do it. But now Rowdy and TA, 3 Omaha appearances. I mean, what does it say about their legacy at Mississippi State that they've never ended a season anywhere other than Omaha, Nebraska?
That's pretty special. And we spoke about it in our office today. Like, there's no way Tanner and Rowdy are going out with an L in this ballpark. And I like having the odds of them being on our team, playing for what we were playing for. And it's pretty special. I mean, when you look up and you see what they've done in their career, it's just the never say die attitude. And they were both really good tonight.
We'll stay with Steve.
It's a challenge of every team in America trying to win a national championship to find a third starter and get production out of the bottom third of the order. Tonight, you got both. And I mean, how does that feel kind of going to Omaha thinking you got some production down there at the bottom of the order, but also, too, you may have identified your third guy?
Yeah, Hootie was good. I mean, a lot of decisions last night. We're sitting and watching games. And, I get a text message, as I'm watching some of the games last night from Landon Sims. Coach, I'm ready. You can use me any way you want me. And I'm sitting on my couch, and I knew that meant we could extend him. He early in the year, he was throwing 60, 70 pitches of, appearance. So, but we felt like getting started with Hootie, going through the lineup once or twice. Our goal was to get 5. We got 4. We just felt like Landon would be a good matchup. Obviously, it's a good matchup against anybody, but these guys were hot. I mean, they're not only are they talented, but they were hot, and we had to show them some different looks tonight.
Next, we'll go to Joe Cook.
Yeah, Coach, after last night's game and that first homer, was there any doubt, or after the end of the second inning, were you more at ease just with how the game was going and the energy that the guys were displaying?
Well, you're never at ease. I mean, even in the second when we scored the runs and used the bullpen, Notre Dame, if you go back and look through their year, they've had some big come from behind, 8 or 9 runs in the 9th inning or 8th inning. So we knew they weren't going to stop, and we knew that offense, the way they were hitting, could do some things. But I felt good for the fact that we ran through their best bullpen arms, there in the second. Their starter came back from Friday, and he pitched great. I wasn't sure he was going to be able to do that. But going into the game, the advantage that we had was bullpen depth, and it paid off in tonight's game.
Up next, we'll go to Courtney Robb.
Coach, 3 straight appearances, 2 underneath you. How have you been able to help build Omaha into your team's culture?
Well, it was here when we got here. And obviously, when you decide to go to Mississippi State, you're going to a program that's the aspiration. That's why we have the ballpark we do, the fan base we do. Our goal is to keep it moving and keep it moving forward. And the nice part is all these young players in the program right now, they've experienced it, they've won it, and that just continues to grow and sets the expectation even higher. And that's where I'm thankful, that Tanner and Rowdy decided to come back. I'm so happy for them. And last year at this time, we didn't know what they were going to do, and coming back and being able to go to Omaha, for a third time with the park packed, and just makes up for a lot that we lost last year.
Up next, we'll go to Joe Coleman.
Chris, you kind of hit on what I was going to ask you there a little bit, but just to build on that, I mean, there is a lot of looking at Tanner and looking at Rowdy, but when you look at what you guys have done, I mean, a lot of these guys had never played a postseason game until a week or two ago, and now here get those contributions tonight from Houston and Logan and Landon and a lot of names that haven't done it. I mean, just, I guess, can you expound on that, just how important that is for the culture of the program to just have those guys that, okay, next year there's going to be freshmen come in, and a lot of guys have experienced all this already.
It's huge. I mean, experience, you can't substitute for it. I mean, our guys, the expectation in that clubhouse comes from Tanner and Rowdy and Josh and Spencer and Riley, those older kids, this is where you're supposed to be. And this is where, we spoke all week, and then we spoke last week that this is where Mississippi State's supposed to be. If we're not here, everybody's disappointed. And it's not like that everywhere in the country. There's high expectations for coaches, high expectations for players, and we understand that. And I just, like I said, it's that experience for those young kids. Even a Cade Smith running out last night and getting 3 outs, and he's going to be a great player in this program. Just so many of our young guys being a part of this, even the ones who didn't play, they're gonna benefit from this down the road, and it's exciting. And it's like I said, it's I'm thankful for the older guys. They've done a tremendous job of leading this team in the locker room, but also on the field.
Let's go back to Steve.
Chris, I know you're not ready to come out of the clouds just yet, but what's the rest of the week look like for you guys? And how do you get these young guys out of the clouds a little bit and kind of get them ready to go play a ball game and kind of get over the fact that they're headed to TD Ameritrade Park for the first time?
Well, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we have camp. So if any of you guys want to come and help with camp, but we got great ball players coming to hang out. And then they have tomorrow off. So we gave them tomorrow off. I think, don't quote me, we'll practice Wednesday morning. We'll get a good lift Wednesday around the midday, and then we'll probably be flying out Wednesday afternoon. And I think we play Sunday night, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a busy week and no rest. I mean, but it's just been a stressful weekend. I feel like they need a day off, and you know, they usually respond pretty well after the day off, and we'll get a good practice and get ready to play great baseball.
Let's go to Gary Graves.
Coach, I guess since the SEC tournament, what kind of things have you seen from your offense in terms of how they're approaching, hitting, approaching pitches? Do they seem to be more patient, maybe yesterday aside?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yesterday was a tough day. Their guy pitched really good, and I give him a lot of credit. We hit a lot of balls hard, and they play great defense. So they really stuffed us yesterday and made some plays on us. The SEC tournament, I don't know. I mean, we did face – I think Florida's number one and Tennessee's number one, and we were behind. So I don't know how much that is. I didn't feel like we pitched good there. It's just hard to hit from behind, especially you're facing really good guys. And we've moved past it, and these guys have been great in the postseason. I mean, they have, we have a great offense, and we have great offensive coaches and Coach Goat and Coach Cheese, and they have a great game plan every day. And that's what you see that happens today is it's game plan. Taking pitches away from pitchers, making them work, and our guys that execute it every time.
All right, guys, we have time for a few more. Up next, we'll go to Tyler Horka.
Well, first of all, Chris, this was my last day working for the Ledger, so I'll pass on that 9 a.m. camp.
Yeah.
But getting back to the game, it felt like in the first two games of the series, you guys were kind of chasing, especially early on. And tonight you guys get sixth in the second there. Just how big was that inning, especially with 4 of those 6 coming with 2 outs?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, because you need a cushion against these guys. I mean, it is a really good offense over there. So, you never feel comfortable. I mean, even in the ninth, I just feel like these guys have played such great baseball over the last couple of weeks and really the whole year. They won the ACC by like 4 games or something, or 4.5 games. They just know how to win is what they do. So, for us to spread it, and we kept talking about expanding it the whole game. So, and congratulations. It's really cold up there. So I played up there, and there's no spring. It just goes winter to summer. So have fun.
Yeah, I've lived in Texas and Mississippi all my life, so I don't think I'm ready for that. We'll
see.
That
was mine too, going to Indiana. It's a great town. You'll enjoy it.
Appreciate that.
Up next, we'll go to Robbie Falk.
Coach, expectations is one thing, but it's really difficult to get to Omaha, as you know. To do it 3 straight times is a big deal. But how much of a grind has this season in particular been? You had a couple of guys that have been here, but you're also playing a lot of guys in that lineup that haven't played against SEC teams. You had some holes that you've had to fill, and some of them you're still kind of tinkering around a little bit. How difficult has this been, and does it make you even more proud that you've been able to accomplish this, your team's been able to accomplish this?
Yeah, it's probably one of the hardest years of my career, not wins and losses, but, the COVID piece has just been crazy all year long. And you're always kind of worried about it or whatever. And having to go through all those protocols and traveling on different buses and worried about your team, in the fall was just so different. And coaches, we like to control everything. We want everything controlled, and a lot wasn't controlled. A lot was on the player this year, and our guys were very responsible how they handled themselves. And lineup wise, we just had some young guys. We had a lot of pitchers trying to keep guys happy, trying to get the right guys going. That was tough in itself, but it's all worth it once you get to this point. You're playing well, and I'm really when you sit in that dugout and I hug my coaches, I know how excited they are. But I see all these guys, the ones going for the first time. And, man, it brings a joy to you because you know how special it is. And not many kids get to play in Omaha. And some of these kids, like you said, have played 3 years. And some of these kids are going for the first time. So we got to get over the shell shock of that first-timers going there and being ready to go out there and play good baseball.
Let's go to Rick Cleveland next.
Yeah, Chris, Link was pretty emphatic about the crowd and the atmosphere making a big difference over the weekend. Your thoughts on that?
It's a big difference. It's he told me before the game, he said, I've never been, and he's coaching this league and he's done, and he just, he made some very complimentary statements before the game. And man, it's why you play all year. People always ask me what our goal is, and obviously our goal is to win the national championship. But as we start our seasons, it's always to host. It's always to be a national seed. We want to win the SEC, we want to win the SEC tournament, but we want to go to Omaha and we want to win it. And to do that, you almost have to host. And if we host, it becomes a huge advantage for us. We have the best fans in the country. Not even close. They wouldn't leave after the game tonight. They're probably getting trouble from their families, but they're all still sitting out there. When I walk out there, you'll still see people out in the ballpark or in the parking lots. And this is what they live for. That's why we have a stadium like this, is because of the fan base. And it's not from what we've been doing here. It's been happening for 25 or 30 years. And it's it's special to be a part of it. Never do I take it for granted being the head coach here. It's an honor. It's every day we come to work. It's an honor to be able to coach here and coach in a program with this much tradition.
We'll go to Shotgun Spratling and then end with Steve Robertson.
Chris, where did you see the difference between the two teams in postseason experience this weekend?
I thought the first game, the crowd got to them a little bit, but then they came out and beat us like a drum yesterday. So I don't know. There was a mature team, an old team. I felt like our bullpen depth helped us today. That was the biggest thing, is we had more of a longer pitching staff maybe. And we were able to use our guys and not have to use, we hadn't had to use Landon too much over the weekend. I think that was it. I don't think experience or anything like that. I just think it was, the bullpen, we were better there this weekend.
And why was Steve?
You mentioned the tradition, the expectations. Is it more of a relief sometimes to kind of get there, because when you take this job at Mississippi State, it's not, hey, we want to go host a regional, we want to go win a national championship. You knew that when you signed up. And so is it a big relief just to kind of get there and kind of keep the dream alive, or kind of how would you describe that?
It's a big relief. Yeah, you probably hit it on the head, just getting into Omaha and being the last ticket out there, you're sitting around today and, the whole country's watching. And for me, like I said, I've had an opportunity. I've been blessed to be there many times, but, for our kids to be there, I didn't want Tanner Allen going off this field, not going to Omaha, or Rowdy Jordan or Will Bednar, who, he's had part of his career, last year cut short, and I want him to have an opportunity to pitch in Omaha and experience it all. That's why, like we said it earlier, that's why you come here. And so it is a relief, but we got work still to do. And that's what we challenged our guys with afterwards. And we got great opponents that we'll have to play. Everybody's playing good baseball. We have to go out there and play at a high level, and we have to get our kids, focused on that.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thank y'all. Hail State.